For more than 40 years, East Tennesseans have trusted Madisonville Marine. They offer great prices, terrific customer service, and the biggest selection of boats in the area. Boats like the G3 Sportsman, featuring sturdy construction and superior features. These perfect fishing boats were designed with wide deck space, plenty of storage, and a smart layout. And they also deliver more fun per gallon than anything else on the water. See for yourself at Madisonville Marine. There's no better place to buy a boat.
The following is a presentation of Fox 43 Sports.
You are watching the Sports Source Kickoff with John Pennington, presented by Madisonville Marine.
Good Saturday game day morning to you. It's going to be a cold one in Lexington tonight. We're going to preview the Tennessee-Kentucky game, and yes, here on the Sports Source presented by Sports Source Kickoff presented by Madisonville Marine, we'll also, of course, talk about the situation with Butch Jones. What happens if Tennessee loses tonight? Will the change be made later tonight, tomorrow, or does the beat go on and on and on? We'll discuss all that in the next 30 minutes. First segment of our show brought to you by the founders of the feast, Madisonville Marine. Right now through the 31st, that's Halloween, next Tuesday, Mad Marine has all kinds of money-back deals on their G3 inventory. I mean, they've got all kinds of G3 boats down there, and you got great deals, rebates from G3 at Madisonville Marine right now. They also have deals on Yamaha outboard motors with extended warranties. If you're in the market for a boat, now is the time to buy, and there is no better place to buy a boat than Madisonville Marine. We appreciate them bringing you this show each and every week. All right, I want to welcome in the panel here. We have Jimmy Himes from WNML. We have LaMarcus Thompson, VFL Well Overstreet, and from SECCountry.com, we have Mike Griffith. All right. Guys, Tennessee goes to Lexington as an underdog. That doesn't happen much. They haven't scored an offensive touchdown in 3.5 games. Things look bad going into this game anyway. It's kind of a Butch Jones, most of us think it's win or else kind of a game. And then John Kelly, team leader, who Monday he tells the team, we got to watch for all the hits that Garantano's taking. Apparently he was taking some hits as well. I've been waiting all week to use that term. But John Kelly and Will Ignott get in trouble, get a citation for marijuana. Butch Jones suspends them. The key there being John Kelly, you can like or dislike the work that Butch Jones has done over the last 5 years. He has run, for the most part, a pretty clean program, and I will give him credit. You're going into what could be a make-or-break game, maybe the biggest in your career, and you suspend your best player. I'll give him credit for that.
I will too, and he's not compromising his message. He's not compromising his discipline. And I thought that there needed to be discipline. I wasn't sure exactly what he would do when we first heard about this, but I think that's the right move to make. And look, John Kelly's the best player Tennessee's team. On offense, for sure, you could argue about the team, but on offense, without a doubt, he's the best weapon. And to make that move, he's done it in the past with players that got in trouble, and I applaud him for taking that stance and not yielding to the potential of losing a game at Kentucky because you don't have your best offensive weapon.
LaMarcus and Will's former players, how are you looking at that? Are you upset that they're suspended? Are you saying, hey, that's the team rule and these guys broke it? They need to be suspended? Where are you?
I definitely agree with you guys here. That's definitely a team rule. He should be suspended. I mean, that's a tough hit to the team because, you know, as a player, you go into it and say, hey, this is your brother. I expect you to be on time, you know, on key. But you go and make a big mistake like that. It's a tough loss, but it's something that has to be done because you have to run a tight ship.
Will?
Yeah, I mean, I agree that you have to make that decision, and it is the player's fault. He understands that that is the part that he's supposed to be doing. He's got to obey the rules, and if he's not obeying the rules, then he knows what the consequences are. It's pretty cut and dry and clear. It happens to every team. Some guys do get suspended. They make some bad mistakes, and you allow them back after they serve their time. But you've got to understand, especially as the team leader, what role you play and how you need to show an example for everybody else.
Well, contrast it to what happened at Alabama just a couple summers ago when Cam Robinson, the All-American offensive tackle, gets pulled over with guns and marijuana in the car, but a judge doesn't press charges, and Nick Saban has him playing the opener. So not all programs are created equally where discipline is concerned.
Well, what about the impact on this offense? And I'll tell you what, let me put up the numbers first, and then we can talk about it. Here we go. Pretty big hole to fill with Mr. Kelly here. He's number 2 in the SEC right now in all-purpose yards. He's averaging 5.7 yards every time he touches the ball. He's averaging 124.3 total yards per game, passing, rushing and receiving. You see the rushing total, 615, 255 receiving. He's responsible for 870 of Tennessee's 2,000 total offensive yards, which means he's 42% of your offense. Now, the last couple of weeks, he hasn't been able to do much. Nobody's been able to do anything. So is your offense so bad that you're not going to miss him? Or is this really another shot to an offense that is struggling? How big is this going to impact them? I mean, I don't think him being out last week would have made much difference at Alabama. No. It might against Kentucky. But your thoughts on what this does to the Tennessee offense?
It's kind of funny, the line didn't move from 6 points, and somebody said, well, the reason is they didn't expect Tennessee to score anyway.
Right.
So that's why it didn't move. I thought, well, that's a cheap shot. But, I think it hurts them. But, look, I like Ty Chandler, but I also think it puts a lot of pressure on the quarterback to perform. It puts a lot on the offensive line, too. This offensive line, which has underachieved this year, has got to play a lot better. Kentucky's given up over 200 rushing yards in the last 2 games. Most of that against Mississippi State was to the quarterback. I think the quarterbacks ran for about 180. But I think the offensive line's got to play well.
Gentlemen, your thoughts on what this means for the offense?
Definitely going to be a big shot to the offense. One interesting stat, Guarantano is going to have to make it, happen with his legs and also his arm. I saw a stat that Kentucky was actually last in the league in passing defense. Right. So that might open up the passing game for Tennessee. Maybe some receivers can get off of press coverage for, a change, and we can make something happen.
And
but
you're right, Kentucky third in the SEC in rush defense, dead last in pass defense, but you've got we haven't seen this quarterback and these receivers and this line put together a good passing attack. Your thoughts on what this whole thing means, guys?
It's obviously a tough break. You lose a guy, you lose a leader. Those are all hard things to be able to come over. But at times, you've seen teams, and I'm not saying this team will be the same, when you do lose somebody like this, all of a sudden those guys that maybe weren't playing as well take up the slack. Right. So sometimes this can be a shot in the arm. Don't know. I obviously wouldn't predict that with this team at this point or with this offense, but sometimes that does happen, so we'll have to see tonight.
Yeah, more concerned with Trey Smith and Jashawn Robinson. Both guys left the Alabama game with what appeared to be ankle injuries, each one of them. So I want to see how those guys block. If they don't block well, John, it could be a long night.
It's, not a good week for the offensive line either. You had, or not a good 2 or 3 weeks for the offensive line. Vinzel Boulware transfers out. Jack Jones, medical issue now. He's having to give up football. You've had a couple of those guys get hurt. It not only, you went into this season thinking your offensive line was going to be the strength of the team. It's not been the strength of the team, and right now, with so many bodies leaving and some guys graduating, it looks like you're going to be in rebuild mode on your offensive line for next year again, which does not help Butch Jones' cause. All right, we'll get back to the matchups in this game a little later. We'll talk about keys to victory, but speaking of Butch Jones, what happens if Tennessee loses to Kentucky? Is that it? I don't know. I've been saying that for 4 weeks. Come on back. We'll discuss.
From games to weddings to parties, and from executive travel to a night on the town, Chariots of Hire is the simplest, most cost-effective, safest way to turn an event into a lasting memory. Their dozens of vehicles allow you to select the perfect ride for your need, and their superior service guarantees you'll arrive in style. More options, more drivers, more experience. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing right. Chariots of Hire.
For more than 40 years, East Tennesseans have trusted Madisonville Marine. They offer great prices, terrific customer service, and the biggest selection of boats in the area. Boats like G3 John boats, built Gator tough. G3 Johns include all the features you could want from a workhorse boat. Massive live well capacity, lockable storage, even a midship fuel tank that allows for smoother running. See for yourself at Madisonville Marine. There's no better place to buy a boat.
Come experience the Lexus life at Lexus of Knoxville, a level of service and satisfaction that goes above and beyond the everyday. We're a consecutive 5-time Elite of Lexus Award winner and rated 4.7 out of 5 stars for customer satisfaction according to Google. Lexus of Knoxville offers a limited lifetime powertrain warranty on all new and select pre-owned vehicles with unlimited miles. Enjoy express service, extended service hours with courtesy vehicles, and much more. Come experience the Lexus life at lexusofknoxville.com.
Have you been hurt in a car wreck? Bill Hodson Associates, the car wreck attorneys, have helped thousands of people all over Knoxville and East Tennessee.
From downtown to the duck pond, Broadway has about 30 traffic lights. In our 30 years, we've helped people hurt at most of these intersections, and we're ready to help you right now.
Experience you can trust. Bill Hodson Associates.
When it comes to your business, no one provides better security and life safety systems than Safety Systems. Protect your employees, your products, and your records with a single phone call. Professional technicians ready to design, install, and monitor your cutting-edge fire and security systems. Electric locks and surveillance cameras. Emergency and after-hours response and repairs. Trust Safety Systems, East Tennessee's leader in security and life safety systems.
Welcome back into the Sports Source Kickoff. This segment of our program brought to you by Chariots of Hire. Executive travel, chartered buses, vans, celebrations. Obviously, they can do all of those, and they have for many, many years, decades, in fact. But they can also turn a first date into a lasting memory. They could turn a night out on the town into a night you'll always remember. They could turn a simple anniversary dinner into the greatest anniversary dinner in the history of man. Chariots of Hire. You should think about them when you're doing any kind of social occasion. It's not just for big tailgates, though they do that too, but I'm telling you, sedans, SUVs, it doesn't have to be the stretch limo, but it's classy. It's a classy thing to do. Chariots of Hire. If something's worth doing, it's worth doing right. Chariots of Hire. All right, welcome back into the show. We got Mike, Will, LaMarcus, Jimmy here. John Curry in his first year as AD doesn't want to make a change with his head coach, obviously. I think there are plenty of people in the administration feel the same way. But at what point is enough enough? If you lose to Kentucky, and the thought was, all right, he gets Alabama and he'll coach against Kentucky, and you better win out from here at 8-4. Is that still the belief? Or, Jimmy, I know you've talked to some people who had a different view on that now. Well, in terms of 8-4, and maybe he could survive at another number.
I was told by a couple of people that he could potentially survive if he goes 4-1 down the stretch and the only loss is to LSU.
Wow.
So we'll see. I do think this. I think if he wins out, he stays. I believe that. If he goes 5-0, I think
so it's not just a chance. You believe firmly that if he's 8-4, they keep it.
If he wants to come back. I'm going to think he does, but
that would be such a miserable offseason. I don't see, guys, how you could do it. Now, going into the season, I was one of the ones that said if he goes 7-5, Curry might not want to make a move. I could see him surviving. But it's not the losses. The record is right where I kind of thought it would be. I didn't see you going 3.5 games without a touchdown. That's and you've not seen improvement on that. That offense has looked bad all year. I just don't know that you've got enough clout to sell to a fan base an entire offseason of, we brought him back at 8-4 or 7-5. I just can't see it.
Well, he needs to sell it to his AD and some of the boosters. What changes are you going to make? I think that's a part of what would allow him to stay.
And guys, doesn't that get back into you're starting square one again next year? I mean, if you're going to make changes on your offensive staff.
If you win out, though, John, then that's a scenario where Garantano is obviously playing better. You're seeing some improvement, and now you have reason to hope. So, no, we can't see it right now because we've seen a team struggle. But if you win out, that means the offense has somehow turned it around.
The problem is, I agree with that, but I don't see the fans turning it around.
Well, and that's the biggest thing is when does that stadium start getting less and less people coming? Because really and truly, that's your number one deciding factor is the fan base becoming apathetic. And if they start going away, not coming to games, then that's when you're going to see a change be made.
A lot of fans out there say we have no power. We have no voice in all this, which isn't true. In ways, there are areas where no, you can't just call over there and say hire Chip Kelly and they'll hire Chip Kelly. But in terms of not buying tickets, not going to games, not doing your donations,
Not buying popcorn?
Not beyond that dadgum popcorn, as Roy Williams once said. That does have an impact. LaMarcus, in terms of this team, it was rumored this week that the practice wasn't as vibrant as it has been in weeks past. Are you hearing this at this point? It's every week now with your coach. It's this drumbeat. At what point does that impact the players? Or does it?
They're definitely feeling it right now because, players come to a school to win ball games, and right now you don't have anything to really play for right now. So, in the locker room, of course, guys get to talking to each other, it's what we're going to do, how we're going to do, what we're going to do this season. And some people are probably even looking to next season to see what's going to happen. So, as a coach, right now, you're going to have to corral this team and keep them focused on the goal of trying to win this game today because, when you do get into that situation to where feel like you're not playing for something, it can demoralize the morale in the locker room. So,
does beating Kentucky? I mean, you could form rivals. Is that playing for something? I mean, is this a game where, as bad as things are, man, you can't lose to Kentucky? Does the streak mean?
That's a game you can't lose. I mean, point blank. It's my favorite word. You can't lose Kentucky at all. Simply because that's a team that you're expected to beat every season. If you lose to Kentucky, that's an even harder shot to you that say, hey, we can't even beat Kentucky, so what are we going to do the rest of the season?
Yeah, that's the morale issue for sure. If you lose
huge.
a game like this against Kentucky, you're going down because all your guys will lose and say, who can we beat? Especially if Kentucky shuts you out again and you haven't scored an offensive touchdown. Exactly. This offense has to really start thinking, what can we do? What can we do well?
All right, with that being the case then, what do we think happens? I mean, it's hard to read this because John Curry's new. We don't know inside his head what's clicking. Aside from this, he went into the season not wanting to make a change in his first year, which I understand. We said that all off season. It makes sense. But if they lose to Kentucky, a team you shouldn't lose to, if you're Tennessee, at least that's the perception. Football's changed a little to where teams are.
Yeah.
They're much more bunched together than they used to be. They said in 1965. But
except for Alabama.
Except for Alabama. But if you lose to Kentucky, a team that most Vol fans and certainly VFLs would say you can't lose to Kentucky, what do they do? Do you think we're talking about a change tonight? Change tomorrow? No change at all? You get 3 home games. Don't you have to make a move to get somebody in the stadium for those 3? Because I don't know that anybody will be there for Southern Miss if you lose to Kentucky tonight.
I don't think they'll be there if you lose, even if you fire him. I don't, for Southern Miss. But to your question, I think if Tennessee loses to Kentucky, a change will be made. I don't know if it'd be that night or Sunday, but I think a change will be made.
I think a blowout win for if Tennessee loses in a blowout. If it's 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdown loss there, I think a move would be made. And then you set up your interim head coach for a easier game there with Southern Miss, so everybody's kind of like, okay.
You hope it's an easier game.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if your offense is still performing like it has been, then there are no easy games.
That's
They're
right.
just games.
If you can't score points, you're going to be in real trouble with anybody you play. Mike Griffith, your thought on what happens if they lose tonight?
I'm with Jimmy on this one. I think if they get blown out, John, that a change could be made and you could have an interim head coach. But if they're competitive again, I think they let Butch finish the season and probably a change will be made. Because I think, I'm on board with Jimmy. The people I talk to say the same thing. Got to win 4 out of 5, maybe lose to LSU.
Okay, good deal. All right, I want to say in the next segment, well, anyway, I do want to remind you that all this Butch Jones stuff, obviously we're on 11 a.m. tomorrow on WAT6 for the Sports Source. Could be a very interesting show based on what happens tonight. Speaking of tonight, let's talk about keys to victory. That's what we're doing next when we come back on the Sports Source Kickoff presented by Madisonville Marine.
When it comes to your home, no one provides better security and audio-video systems than Safety Systems. Control everything using your tablet or smartphone, whether it's a hidden TV or the temperature in your home. Lighting, doors that open and close, lock and unlock, cameras that allow you to watch your home from wherever you may be, all at the touch of a button. Trust Safety Systems, East Tennessee's leader in security and audio-video systems.
For more than 40 years, East Tennesseans have trusted Madisonville Marine. They offer great prices, terrific customer service, and the biggest selection of boats in the area. Boats like Suncatcher pontoons, ultra luxurious, sophisticated, and stylish. You won't find a more family-friendly pontoon boat, all with cutting-edge technology designed to enhance the quality of your time on the water. See for yourself at Madisonville Marine. There's no better place to buy a boat.
Have you been hurt in a car wreck? Bill Hodson Associates, the car wreck attorneys, have helped thousands of people all over Knoxville and East Tennessee.
Two of America's busiest interstate highways intersect in Knoxville. Interstate speed keeps traffic moving, but it can also result in terrible wrecks. We've helped a lot of people hurt in these wrecks, and we're ready to help you right now.
Experience you can trust. Bill Hodson Associates.
Come experience the Lexus life at Lexus of Knoxville, a level of service and satisfaction that goes above and beyond the everyday. We're a consecutive 5-time Elite of Lexus Award winner and rated 4.7 out of 5 stars for customer satisfaction according to Google. Lexus of Knoxville offers a limited lifetime powertrain warranty on all new and select pre-owned vehicles with unlimited miles. Enjoy express service, extended service hours with courtesy vehicles, and much more. Come experience the Lexus life at lexusofknoxville.com.
From games to weddings to parties, and from executive travel to a night on the town, Chariots of Hire is the simplest, most cost-effective, safest way to turn an event into a lasting memory. Their dozens of vehicles allow you to select the perfect ride for your need, and their superior service guarantees you'll arrive in style. More options, more drivers, more experience. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing right. Chariots of Hire.
Welcome back into the Sports Source Kickoff, presented by Lexus of Knoxville right here. This segment is. Right now, it's the Lexus Fall Collection Sales Event. You can get 0.9% APR for up to 48 months. And look at the models: ES, ESH, GS, GSH, GSF, and GX. Now, here's the deal. Time's running out. It's coming to a close only on Halloween. That's the last date, next Tuesday. So get out to Lexus Knoxville, check out the deals this weekend. Check them out by Tuesday. It's a great event. Lexus of Knoxville, great car dealer here in Knoxville. All right, I want to also tell you that tomorrow, as I just mentioned in that last segment, we'll be on 11 a.m. as we have been, wow, for 15 years now. Sunday morning over on WATE 6, you see we'll have 3 VFLs, Sterling Hinton, Daniel Hood, Bobby Scott, and then the pack of media hounds will be here. And depending on what happens tonight, we may be talking about a coaching change tomorrow, an interim coach tomorrow, or we may be saying, have they not made a move yet? Who knows? Tomorrow could be very interesting on the show. We always appreciate you watching. Let's get into this game today. 2 teams coming off 45-7 losses. I guess I would rather say I lost 45-7 to Alabama than be Kentucky and say I lost 45-7 to Mississippi State. Either way, neither team comes into this one with much in the tank, it doesn't seem. The Vols lost in 2011. Everybody remembers that. The wide receiver, Matt Rourke, playing quarterback for Kentucky. That was the only loss to Kentucky since 1984. So Tennessee has won 32 of the last 33 against Kentucky. What are the keys for Tennessee to win 33 out of 34 tonight in a chilly Lexington? Mike Griffith, I'll start with you down there.
Well,
keys.
I think
Good
that
luck.
they can't.
Yeah,
I think they can't turn it over. I think the key to the game for Tennessee is no turnovers, and they've got to get some semblance of a run game to keep Garantano ahead of the sticks. You don't want him in 3rd and long, which he's been in pretty much since he's taken over at quarterback.
Yeah, I think you have to win on 1st down. You've got to be really good there. You've got to have better than you've been doing there. And I think you have to come up with a big play, long play, because I don't know if this offense can continue a string of 10 plays and march down the field. So I think they've got to pick it up in chunks. So that's a hard challenge.
Especially when you haven't proven that you've got guys who can get open downfield and a quarterback who can hit them when they are, or have time to hit them when they're open downfield. LaMarcus, what's Tennessee got to do to win this game?
I agree with these guys over here, but my biggest thing is red zone offense. I mean, Tennessee can move the ball down the field, but it seems like we sputter every time we get to the red zone. Either it's a get to a 4th down situation to where either we can't go for it because we have no confidence in that, or we're kicking field goals. But it's just we have to get some red zone production, basically.
All right, so no turnovers, win on 1st down. Red zone offense. Jimmy, what do you add?
I think the offensive line has to play well, and that evolves a lot around different things. But the offensive line has to play well. I think Tennessee is going to have to throw for something north of 175 yards. They have got to get some passing game going. Had, 44 against Alabama, 133 against South Carolina. That's not good enough. The other thing is I think they got to keep Steve Johnson, the quarterback at Kentucky, in the pocket. Don't let him scramble to beat you. I would rather him. Now, I know his passing's better and his percentage is better, but I think he's dangerous when he's running the football. keep him in the pocket. I think that gives you a better chance on defense.
Mark Stoops went to Kentucky, and everyone thought, well, okay, and this does backfire a lot. You go in, it's like, well, they hired a defensive coordinator who'd done it well at Florida State, so what he'll build at Kentucky is defense first. But no, they've won pretty much on their offense since he's been there. In terms of this Kentucky team, their record's 5-2. They lost to Florida in it was a terrible play where they didn't have a guy covered. They choked at the end. And then also got drubbed by Mississippi State. Is this team better or worse than the Kentucky teams we've seen under Stoops? Is it just off to a hotter start and they're going to collapse late? I mean, I don't know. That Mississippi State thing changed my view a lot.
I think there's a real chance of them collapsing late because remember, they beat, Eastern Kentucky and Eastern Michigan by one possession games.
Struggle with Southern Miss, who Tennessee's got.
In the opener, struggle in that game. I think they're okay. They probably should have beat Florida. But
yeah, if you cover a man on the
that
standing by himself.
And they did it twice. They did it early in the game too. But I don't think this Kentucky team's really any better than what we've seen. I think they're basically a 500 team.
One thing I think is interesting about facing Kentucky in the middle of the year, and as somebody who grew up in the area, I mean, I grew up in Middlesboro, Kentucky for a long time, so the Tennessee-Kentucky game was a big deal up there. You used to play Kentucky at the last game, next to last game of the season for year after year after year. They were worn down. That you had the better roster. Their roster was depleted. They had the injuries. Now you're getting them earlier in the year. I don't know with where Tennessee is right now. I don't know how much better Tennessee's roster is at this moment with people who are healthy and can play. I don't know how much better Tennessee's roster is than Kentucky's. And it's no longer into the year where Kentucky's just worn down. I think that makes a difference in this game.
I think the difference is you hadn't been able to score an offensive touchdown in the last several games.
That was actually, in between segments, you asked if that could be a key to the game. Can we score?
Yeah, exactly. So, right now, I mean, that's why you have the line. You had two teams get beat, the 45-7, but everybody sees one of them scoring touchdowns at least some of the time.
All right, defensively. Now, look, this isn't Alabama. This isn't Georgia. So, defensively, if you're out there playing well and your offense still struggles a little bit, I don't know that it's going to be as much of a collapse as you saw second half against Alabama and second half against Georgia. Would you agree with that? Or are you waiting to see the attitude of this team when they come through the tunnel?
A little bit of both. I say you always want to know what the attitude is because there at some point in time you can have something just fall apart where one side's saying the other side's not taking up and doing their job. But the other part about this is it's not just that, whether they have the motivation, but it's long ways into the season. They've been playing 100 snaps, 80 snaps a game. Right. And if you're out on that field in that first half and your offense is going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, you just wear down by the time the fourth quarter rolls around. So you may want to be out there, but you can get worn down.
All right. LaMarcus, when you look at this game from a player's point of view, how do you motivate yourself for this one? I mean, we always hear, is it about, I got to play for pride? Is it your own personal pro aspirations? How do you motivate yourself for this game?
It's definitely a pride thing. As a football player, you don't want to lose any football game. I don't care who you're playing or what you're playing for. You don't want to lose. You don't want to get beat. So you're going to go out there. You're definitely going to put your best effort on the field every single football game. Now, of course, your morality might be a little low, but I'm a person that I'm not going to want to get, beat by the person that's in front of me. So they're definitely going to go out there and put their best effort out there.
I thought Ethan Wolf had something interesting to say about that. He said that I didn't come here to make money in the NFL later. I didn't come here for a scholarship. I came here to play football because I love the game. If you love the game, you will play hard in the game. He said, and I think most of my teammates came here for that reason. We all know some of them came for the NFL and so forth,
right.
but he said if you love the game, you will come to play, and that shouldn't be an issue.
Sounds good.
It does.
But there are teams that lose every week that all play different, I'm sure most of them don't go out there and lose because, I just don't care today. They all tell themselves, I came here to win, and then you lose anyway. They're saying the right things. And they said the right things after the Alabama game. I thought Garantano coming out and said, look, we're going to give our all for Tennessee. We got 5 more weeks. We're going to do it. It's great. Believe it when I see it. I've never heard a team come out and say, that's it, we're done. We're not even going to show up these last 5 weeks.
Well, one thing that's a little bit different is that there's a lot of young players for Tennessee that are trying to get some playing time. Now, Sean Schamberger, Ty Chandler, this is his big opportunity. Jarrett Garantano, only his 3rd start. Ryan Johnson maybe on the offensive line. A little infusion of youth and competition for playing time could add a little fire in Kentucky.
Into Tennessee? Or
yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
fire to Tennessee getting ready for Kentucky. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, gentlemen, who takes Tennessee?
I'm going to take Tennessee.
Kelly,
I think Ty Chandler's going to break out tonight.
I'm taking Kentucky by 1. We got it close. All right. Thanks to Mike, Will, LaMarcus, Jimmy. We'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. on WATE6 for the Sports Source. Thanks for watching today. See you then.
This has been a presentation of Fox 43 Sports.